and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shailene and today I am doing a spoiler-free review of The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young. So I had an arc provided by St. Martin's Press via NetGalley. The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young comes out on September 3rd. This is the second book in the Sky in the Deep series and can be read as a standalone. Without further ado, let's jump on into the review. We're going to get into the basic plot of the story. The story follows two characters / two different perspectives. So first we have Tova, a young girl from this mysterious mythic tribe of people who was found on a burned boat as a child and subsequently raised by a very prominent member in the community of the Svell. And Halvard, a young man who has seen many generations before him face war, will soon have to face war himself one day, while grappling with the fact that he himself one day will become chief. Once Tova is rescued from the sea, she is taken in by the Svell's Tala, Jorund. Tova is what's called a Truthtongue, and she casts these rune stones that can show the future fate of that person or that tribe. Jorund raises Tova, although the Svell are very hostile towards Tova. They see her as a front to their gods, and they are very discriminatory towards Tova, and even at some points have tried to kill her. The Svell is currently on shaky ground. They want more rule over the land surrounding them. It's made even more shaky by the two brothers who rule the Svell. Beckon, the chief, is the oldest, and his younger brother, Vigis, the overseer of sorts of a different settlement, wants to enact war on the neighboring Nadir to gain access to more land. Vigis ends up going against his brother, and war is inevitable. The Nadir is comprised of two tribes that previously had a blood feud who reconciliated and became this one tribe. This was the basis of the last book. The Nadir don't want another war and try to make peace. Tova casts her stones to show the future of the Svell. Things don't look great, war is on the horizon, the Svell are doomed. The two tribes meet, war breaks out, the Svell try to hunt down Halvard, and Tova tells the Svell that she can find him. Tova many times escapes death. Vigis wants nothing more than to have her dead. Tova is beginning to have more and more questions about her past and who she truly is, especially after she encounters a man that is from her tribe, who the supposed tribe, these people never leave the area in which they govern. When Tova and Halvard almost encounter one another, they have this sort of magnetic connection, and it's clear that there is something there with them too. The spinners, the entities that decide the fate of people, are guiding her to him, and also showing her visions of her past. Soon, an even bigger war between the Svell and the Nadir breaks out. Halvard is now chief and leads the attack, while Tova is left to grapple with the effects of her casting the stones and what she feels is her fault for breaking out the war. Plenty of things happen, and if I reveal too much, then it's gonna be way too spoilery. So the pacing and the atmosphere. The beginning of this book starts off a bit slow, as would probably be expected, because we do have to learn about the two different tribes and the way of life of these people. And I actually enjoyed this part. It was done in a way that was very interesting because I wanted to know what's happened, but again, it was slow paced, not a whole lot was happening because we were learning the backstory of pretty much everything. I wasn't at all confused reading this book. It is the second book in a duology, and these books, from my understanding, can be read as standalones. When I read this, I had no confusion about any of the characters or any of the events that had taken place because they explain it pretty well in the book what took place 10 years earlier in the Sky in the Deep novel. Once we do get to the middle of the book, things really begin to take off. plots are unfolded and things are really laid out, and you can see what is going to happen and what that conclusion might possibly be. The ending is very fast-paced, it's really action-packed, there's a lot of battle scenes, and it's a really good ending. The atmosphere of this novel is spectacular. I absolutely loved it. If you love Vikings, you'll love this novel. When I was reading this, I felt like I could smell the smoke from their settlements, because it's just so immersive and there's great descriptions, and I loved the atmosphere of this book. The battle scenes are also quite descriptive. They're very bloody. There's a lot of gore. So if you're not into gore, maybe don't read this. It's not like overly descriptive where it's like embalmment or anything like that. Like, it's not showing you the actual gore on an extreme level. It's pretty tame, but still quite violent. And the mysticism in this novel brings this extra eerie kind of element that I really enjoyed, and I actually really surprised that I enjoyed it. It was just really good. It really set a vibe. So yeah, the atmosphere in this book is great, and I would read it just on that basis alone. It's so good. So now we're going to get into what I liked about this book. I loved Tova as a character. The struggles that she was able to overcome were pretty incredible. She's essentially a hostage to the Svell. The people, they have her there for their own gain. They don't have her there because they want to help her and keep her alive. They have her there purely to use her. It's quite the toxic relationship. She really is held captive, although a lot of people want to keep her, you know, to have her dead. But she overall is just fearless, and she's really brave, and it really shows during those battle scenes. And you know, she is a girl that is surrounded by lies in this world, that she really, again, is a hostage. She knows no true family, no true love, and she doesn't really know who she is and what her people were, who they are. And she's a really strong and well-developed character. I really enjoyed her. And again, the mysticism in this novel. I'm typically not one for fantasy and mysticism and magic and fortune-telling and all that kind of stuff, but I actually really enjoyed it in this novel because it brought that kind of extra Viking element to it that I really enjoyed. It had this really eerie, spine-tingling vibe about it, and I really enjoyed it. And it was actually quite interesting, and it made me want to pick up the novel to read and, you know, actually kept me interested in the story. The battle scenes. There are quite a few battle scenes in this book, and they're all really good. They're well planned. They are quite descriptive. It's like you can hear the swords hitting, and I quite enjoyed them. They're just super action-packed, really great. So Tova and Halvard, they kind of have this almost romance thing going on throughout the novel, where they see each other in the glade when things are going down, and they have this magnetic connection right off the bat, and they can both feel this weird magnetic connection. And throughout the novel, Tova does seek out Halvard because she wants to help him and all this stuff, and they end up finally, you know, kind of meeting, and they have this spark going on. And so I would count this as like a very slight romance. Nothing romantic really happens until like the end of the novel, and even then it's like really brief, really sweet. But if there was ever a romance I would actually want to read about, it would be this. Probably shocking coming from me, considering I really dislike romance most of the time. The Mystery Tribe. Throughout this novel, we have this mystery tribe where Tova comes from, called the Kur. And these are a people of mysticism and ritual, and they're really cut off from all the other tribes around. There's a lot of rumors about them. Not a lot of people know who they actually are, and it's very rare to actually see a person from this tribe on the mainland. So I thought this was such an intriguing part of the story. They were like almost this mythical kind of people, even though they were real. It was really cool. I really loved them. And yes, if you're wondering, the characters from The Sky in the Deep are featured in this novel, mainly as side characters, but if you are wondering where some of them ended up 10 years down the line, then this book does, you know, give some hints to where they ended up. So I think if you enjoyed the first book, you really enjoy seeing where maybe some of the side characters go, and I believe that some of the ones from Sky in the Deep are featured in the battle scenes in the Girl to Seek AFAC. So we're going to move on to what I didn't like. There isn't really anything about this book that I didn't like. The only thing that I would maybe critique is that the beginning was a bit slow, although it was interesting enough to hold my interest and to keep me reading. So that's not really a critique. There wasn't really anything about this book that I didn't like. So my conclusion / my overall rating. I really enjoyed this book. I think if you really loved the first one, then you're probably also going to like this one as well. I myself am really excited now to pick up Sky in the Deep and read it. I've been meaning to get to that one forever. The Viking aspect and the mysticism with Tova is really what made me love this novel so much. There's truly nothing I can really think about that I didn't like about this book. However, with that being said, it's not like an absolute favorite book. It's not a 5-star. I would more put this at a 4-star. I think this is a really, really good book, and I really enjoyed it, and it's something that I will reread in the future. And I will definitely be picking up a hard copy when I get the chance. I'm really excited to see what else Adrienne Young puts out in the future, because I absolutely love this novel. I know that she's making another duology series, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I would highly recommend this novel if you love Vikings, if you love battle scenes, books with mysticism, and books with a really strong atmosphere. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I will have links to my Instagram, my Goodreads, and my Twitter linked in the description below, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!